Hello! Today's stories come from r/entitled parents. We have one long story today with multiple updates and a second story that I'd like to think is a palate cleanser. This first story was originally posted over 10 years ago and was so wild it has never been forgotten, despite there never being a solid resolution, until it was reposted a month ago by Raining Sakuras when OP reappeared after 10 years. Our story is titled, I'm a 23-year-old male. Parents, in their early 60s, have taken me out of the will in favor of my sister. Am I wrong to be so angry about this? Original, November 7, 2012. Recently, I was helping my parents with doing a bit of late spring cleaning and throwing a lot of old rubbish out when I came across what I assume is the most recent copy of their will. Date, June 2012. I didn't mean to look at it, but when I moved it, I noticed in the beneficiaries section on the front, only my sister was listed. Then, I know it was horrible of me to do, I decided to have a read through it. I'm not in it at all. My sister is listed as the sole beneficiary. She will get their house, life insurance policies, savings, car, absolutely everything. They aren't rich people by any means, but due to the way property prices have risen since they bought their house in the 80s, this probably comes in total to about £500,000. They have always had a thing with favoring my sister a bit more than me, giving her extra attention and stuff, but I've never really minded. She is a bit of a screw up, and if I'm honest, she has needed the extra attention. I'm not going to lie either, my financial situation is a lot better than my parents'. I'm engaged, and together, me and my partner, no kids, make about £45,000 a year. She is a single parent of two children, deadbeat dad, no child support, earning about £16,000 a year. I know that is a lot of a gap, and I would understand if they left her a greater share to help her out more, but leaving me with nothing just seems so harsh. Whilst me and my fiance do earn more, we aren't exactly rolling in money, and even if they had only left me 20%, it would still be more than enough to help me start to buy a house. Obviously, this is all hypothetical, as they are both perfectly healthy and have a long time in them yet. It just seems harsh that if they were to die tomorrow, my sister would be set, whilst I would be left with nothing. Am I right to be angry about this? Should I confront them about it or not? I know it's not my money at all, but she is a terrible daughter to them. Over the years, she has lied to them, stole money from them, and me, had to be bailed out and fines paid for drug charges, etc. She barely even finished school as well, so whilst she is financially worse off, it's only because she has made herself so. On the other hand, I visit them all the time, help them out whenever they asked, went to university, which they had always wanted me to do. I paid for it 100% myself with no help. And it just seems like they are punishing me and rewarding her for being such a failure. Additional info. With me, they have always had a parenting style of letting me make my own way. If I wanted something, I was expected to do chores, get a job, and pay for it. I don't mind at all, as it's made me more responsible. My sister, on the other hand, they always bought what she wanted and never really expected as much from her as me. Update, November 7, 2012, 12 hours later. I just want to say to all of you, you are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for your support. If I could, I would respond to each of you individually, but unfortunately, I don't have the finger strength for that. Hello, all. Thank you all for your responses. I think the very vast majority of you understood what I was upset about, with only a few idiots thinking that it was about money rather than validation of what I had always believed a bit, that they prefer my sister. I wanted to get this sorted out as soon as possible. I booked the afternoon off work and went around to see them and learned two new things about myself from my parents. 1. I was an accident. Apparently, after my sister, my mom had a miscarriage and they decided not to try again. And then a year later, along pops me. Because I was unplanned, they hadn't really thought through their finances. And so for about a year and a half, my dad had to work two jobs and has always felt that I made him miss out on my sister growing up. And that because he rarely saw me, he has never really connected with me. As for my mom, The previous miscarriage had put her off of having children. She was content with her little girl, and by then, age 39, was quite happy to be done having children. 2. They are disappointed with me. They don't like my fiance. They don't like that I live a 40-minute drive away. They are sad that I chose accountancy instead of doing a law degree. But most of all, they are disappointed that I am not closer to my sister. That is, friends with a girl who spent most of her life bullying me, who has treated them appallingly, who stole money from them regularly until she moved out, and who I was persuaded to lend £2,000 of my savings for university to so she could clear some debts. She never paid that back, and I had to get into a lot of debt myself to get through my final year. It's not even like I am horrible to my sister now. I love my niece and nephew and spoil them all the time, and for their sake will help her out from time to time with money for bills or food. Apparently, this is why I am not in the will and never have been, except when I was younger, where custody of me would have been given to an aunt until I was 18. They have never really seen me as their son. I was always a bit too distant and self reliant, and apparently made it easy for them to love your sister more. I'm not down to get anything, as they don't really view me as part of the family. Me going away for 3 years to uni made it worse, but it's something that they have always felt. They asked me if I felt that it was wrong what I did and said if I could persuade them otherwise, they would change it somewhat. My sister would still be the main beneficiary, but I would get something from them. I know you guys will probably be disappointed with me for my response, but I just left. I told them I didn't care about the money at all, and if they cannot see me as a son, then I no longer see them as parents. I have no parents now. However, on a positive note, my future in laws are awesome, and I've been calling her mother Mum for a while now, so I do kind of get some parents. Goodness gracious, OP's parents are horrific. Seems to me like OP would have been better off having been given up for adoption. However, in spite of his nightmarish parents, seems like he turned out pretty well adjusted and has found a new family that will appreciate him for the wonderful human that he is. Let's check out the comments where OP makes an appearance. Mango Script said, and so the countdown begins to one or both parents needing care. The sister is nowhere to be found, and suddenly OP can earn his way back into the will. Parents and daughter deserve each other and their crappy family fortune. OP is so much better without them. Tuna Stuffed Potato said, and or, parents pass and sister gets the money, blows through it all instantly, ends up in massive debt by overspending, begs OP for monetary help again. Rainbow Cream Puff replied, this will happen. She won't change. Ask Me About My Cat said, a whole 40 minutes away? Oh, the horror. My trip to the grocery store is a longer drive than that. What BS parents? Educational Ad added, well, crap. I moved to another country and have been here 20 years, and yet my parents still didn't cut me out of their will. It's almost like they accept that I'm my own individual person and they love me unconditionally. Weird. Mental Vacation said, I can't stand the whole accident baby excuse. My youngest was unplanned, and I guess an accident in the warped world of arseholery. Does having another make things harder? Yes. Does he also bring infinitely more love and joy? Double, triple servings of yes. We chose to keep him. We chose to continue. The accident was becoming pregnant. Past that point, it was all a choice. I cannot understand the stupidity of people like OP's parents. I'm going to aggressively crochet a doily now to calm down. The reposter Raining Sakura said, hello, OP. So glad you're doing well now, 10 years later. Would you like me to link this comment on the post so that others can find you here? OP replied, if you don't mind. Help sum everything up, and to be honest, I'm probably going to log out of this account, getting an enormous amount of messages, and it's really a bit of my past I'm quite happy to just have buried. Life's good now, no sense in revisiting old stuff. Raining Sakuras said, of course, best wishes to you and your family from here on. We're all rooting for you. And now for the glorious update OP posted. Just posting this as a little update. Found this post when browsing Best of and managed to remember the old password. I'm now 33, happily married, two beautiful daughters, and running my own business that I started during the lockdowns, which has basically helped us become fully financially independent. Zero contact with my parents or sister these past 11 years. Parents are still alive. As a result of insane house price increases in the UK, they are probably worth close to £1 million now, and I'm fairly certain my sister is waiting for them to die. From what I've heard from other people, her behavior improved. No more stealing, etc., but she's still broke and in a dead end job because she has virtually no qualifications to get anything better and no drive to improve. The only person I'm in any contact with is my nephew, sister's son. He's nothing like his mother. Absolutely brilliant mind and currently at university studying math. And my wife and I help him with his living expenses because he wouldn't have been able to go without it. And to be honest, with his mind, it would be a waste. OP's update really highlights what an amazing person he turned out to be. I hope he and his family ride the good karma wagon into the sunset. Well, our first was so heavy that I wanted to add something a little more hopeful and wholesome while staying somewhat on theme. So we're heading over to r/relationship advice for a pick-me-up. And no, Linda, I don't think it's a problem mixing subreddits on a video. Get off my back. Our story is, my ex-husband's daughter announced she's getting married. What should I do with their family's heirloom ring? My ex-husband and I married too young. It was a classic white wedding with vows and the tradition of passing down a family ring. My ex was given his great-grandmother's wedding ring to give to me on our wedding day. We had a wonderful start, but we both really weren't ready to settle. He cheated on me, and my drinking turned into alcoholism. We divorced, and the ring was never really discussed, so I've kept it all this time. We married at 19 and divorced by 22. Luckily, we didn't have kids. We went our separate ways. He found someone and remarried and had a girl and boy. My journey has been harder. Alcoholism took many things from me, but I kept the old wedding ring. Never pawned, traded, or lost it, even during some really dark times. Even though my marriage ended, it was like a memory of better times. I've gotten clean, and so far I'm on a long winning streak getting my life put back together. Through the gossip lines, I found out my ex is still married and his daughter, their oldest, just got engaged. I still have his great grandmother's ring. He had talked with me before we even married, how he wanted to pass it down to his daughter one day. We haven't talked once after all these years. I don't know if he still wants his daughter to have this ring. Maybe he's forgotten about it. I feel conflicted what to do. It wasn't a good ending. We were so young and stupid and mutually overly entitled. Should I get in touch or let sleeping dogs lie? Mail it as a wedding gift with a card anonymously or say it's from me? Edit. Thank you for all your kindness. I will definitely get in touch with him and let him decide where we go from there. Hopefully, he'll want to meet face to face. It would be nice to see him after all this time. Update. So, small recap. My ex-husband and I exchanged wedding vows and I was given his great-grandmother's wedding ring. We divorced, his cheating, my drinking, and the ring was never discussed, and I ended up saving it as a keepsake all these years as a memory of another life I once had. I'm clean now for a long while. I recently spoke with a friend who knows of my ex's family and brought up how his daughter recently got engaged. I immediately thought of the ring. It was to be passed down to our daughter if we had had children. This being a family heirloom, it compelled me to return it even though it's been decades since my ex and I last spoke, and not even sure he'd want it back. After posting here for advice, I decided I needed to do this for his family. I had the ring professionally cleaned at a jeweler and given a pretty box to put it in. While I was there, I took the advice of one commenter and ordered myself a ring. Instead of an inset diamond, I gave mine a ruby. It was my grandmother's name, and she never gave up on me, and it seemed fitting considering the other ring belonged to a great-grandmother. I decided to have maybe a cliché engraving of the word forward, because that's how I've made it here to where I am now, by moving forward. My ex lives about 2 hours into town, and I had a girlfriend come with me. First, we drove by, and there weren't any cars, so we grabbed lunch and tried again. This time, someone was home, and I decided to leave things be. I had my friend go up to the door and knock. I saw him open the door. She handed him the package and pretty much headed straight back to the car. He didn't say much, she told me. Seemed a bit confused, but thanked her, and that was it. I didn't get to see if it made him happy or if he called his mother saying the ring found its way home. I imagine him beaming while explaining the ring to his wife as he passes it to his daughter. It is fun to imagine. I also imagine a lot of crying and hugging, but that's probably going too far. I had a note with it. I wrote almost exactly what a commenter suggested. It's been an honor and privilege to be part of the history of this ring. Please accept it back with best wishes to your family and to your daughter's engagement. In a way, I kinda like not knowing how everyone reacted. I can daydream about it, my own fairy tale. I didn't include any way to contact me, just my name. I found him and feel if he wants to, he'll find me. But I don't see much point. Our time was short and it ended, and this is probably the best closure I never expected. It makes my heart lighter. Thank you all for helping and sharing this with me. What an amazing story, eh? I love that OP didn't seek out a thank you or insert herself as an imposition or create a thing out of the return of the ring. In my opinion, this was truly the most gracious way of returning the heirloom. So delightful. Let's head to the comments where the drama llamas are still thirsty for more. Swamp Fever said, "This is wholesome stuff. Thanks." Mango Pabu said, "Yeah, we need more of these to help balance out all of the, oh my gosh, why do I have eyes stories." This was like out of a book. Really great story, and I agree, it's better not knowing. Miss Milk Tea said, "The cleaning of the ring and giving it a nice box was a special touch, a very classy and dignified way to close a chapter. Well done." One Accident added, "This whole story shows how far she has come in sobriety. The hesitating wasn't about giving the ring back, it was about upsetting him seeing her. Great attitude." No Program Found added, "And the selflessness of not wanting or needing to see their reactions and to let the family handle it on their own. None of this was about her and what she might get emotionally rewarded out of returning it. It was solely about doing what she thought was right. Kudos to OP, really a great person." In response to, and the selflessness of not wanting or needing to see their reactions, Anchez Sanchez said, "Well, it's actually quite selfish when you consider that I want to know their reactions." Gingerbirdie said, "Right? Couldn't the friend have hidden behind a tree and let us know?" Belbazaar said, "Ha, lol, we're here for the tea. We need to know the deets." Umklop said, "I wanted to hear about the tears of joy. How dare she not feel like warming my cold, cold heart?" If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.